Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome to the stage the Executive Director at Inner City Scholarship Fund, Susan George.
Good evening. Your Eminence, members of the clergy, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the 38th Annual Friends Gala of Inner City Scholarship Fund. I am very pleased that none of you are hockey fans, so thank you so much for being with us this evening. For those of you who do not know who I am, I'm Susan George, Executive Director. I just wanted to take a moment and thank you for your incredible generosity. Because of you, thousands of children every day have the gift of attending a Catholic school in the Bronx, Manhattan, and Staten Island, schools that they truly love. Tonight we recognize our Friends Committee, a very special group of dedicated volunteers who help us to provide scholarships and enrichment program in the 79 inner city Catholic schools of the Archdiocese of New York. While many of you are longtime supporters of Inner City Scholarship Fund, our Gala Chair has brought many new faces this evening, and I hope that you'll take some time to learn a little bit about us. I encourage you to read the program and visit our website tomorrow, where you can learn all about our exciting programs, and we love new volunteers. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce our MC this evening, Peter Johnson, who is the president of Leahy & Johnson. Peter is a super lawyer, known for his trial and appellate skills. He's also a commentator on Fox and Fox and Friends. Peter's a longtime supporter of the Archdiocese of New York and a Knight of Malta. Peter, we thank you so much for being here with us this evening, and we thank Blanche for lending you to us tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Peter Johnson.
Wow, I feel like I'm at home. My wife leads that cheer every night I walk through the door. It's an even louder cheer when I leave the home. Susan George, thank you for being an incredible dynamo, and thank you for being the incredible person that you are. Round of applause for Susan, please. This is a great May spring evening. It's great to be here as your MC. I'm honored, and it's a great tradition of people like Dari Alexander and Martha McCallum and wonderful Fox people, and a lot of them are here. And thank you, Fox people, for being here tonight. For many years, and I'm sure you've all marveled, and I've marveled, at the great service Catholic schools have provided, not only in the United States, but particularly here in New York City. This evening, I had the great fortune of meeting some incredible, incredible young people. And I know that you did. This is not surprising, though, when you consider that 98%, listen to this number, 98% of seniors who attend Catholic high schools graduate, and 96%, yes, applause, applause, and 96% pursue higher education. Over 7,500 children are able to receive the opportunity to attend Catholic schools in this archdiocese because of what you do and what your friends and your brothers and sisters in this city do, and other extremely generous benefactors. So I applaud you, and you should applaud each other tonight. On behalf of Cardinal Dolan and Susan George and this organization, I thank you for being here, and I thank you for helping create the next generation of incredible New Yorkers. I have the great privilege and pleasure to introduce to you now the Executive Director of the Office of Black Ministry of the Archdiocese of New York, Brother Tyrone Davis. Brother Davis.
Good evening. Let us pray. O good and gracious God, O Creator God, you have called us your sons and daughters, and you have called us this day, each and every day, to be brothers and sisters to one another. It is in the confidence of these sacred relationships, ever mindful of your presence and your faithfulness, and knowing that you do hear and answer the prayers of your people, that we, your people, ask to have a word with you this evening on our behalf and that of our children, your most precious ones. In the spirit of celebration and gratitude for this moment in time and for all the good things that you have given to us this day and throughout our lives, we pause to say thank you. For we know that it is only through your goodness that we have this bread to offer, this fruit of the vine, this work of human hands, which through your goodness may give nourishment to our bodies and spirits. We thank you for calling each and every one of us to this sacred task of caring for your children, of supporting their education and growth. For it was your Son who reminded us that it is for such as these, the little ones, that your kingdom belongs. And so as we gather here this evening with grateful hearts, we also ask for your blessings. Bless us who gather in this place today. Bless our every thought, word, and deed. We ask you to bless the great work of the Inner City Scholarship Fund. Bless, O Lord, we pray, our many benefactors and beneficiaries, those with great needs and those with generous hearts. May we be ever attentive to the needs of others and always willing to share generously from that which you have generously given to us. As you shower blessings upon us this evening and upon our children, the students in our various schools throughout this archdiocese, we ask you to also visit with a blessing their parents, their families, their teachers, and all who heed your call to encourage the little ones and to never stand in the way between them and you. We ask that you make our students, as well as our very selves, always mindful of your presence among us, and fill us with your grace, mercy, and peace, so that we may live and lead in truth and love. Dear God, as we ask you to bless this celebration, we ask you to bless in a special way those who feel they have nothing for which to celebrate. As we celebrate with the food we share this evening, keep us mindful of those who have not enough to eat. As we celebrate opportunities received, keep us mindful of those who still live with opportunities denied. As we celebrate our successes, keep us mindful of those who have been made to feel that their greatest achievement is failure. And as we celebrate your love, keep us mindful of those who do not know of your unconditional love for all. Above all, keep us mindful that those are we, and we are they, for all are one in you. And so, dear God, as we conclude this brief moment with you, we do so by proclaiming praise to you, from whom all blessings flow. Praise to you from us, your creatures here below. We humbly join our praise to you with all the heavenly hosts as we praise you, God, our Creator, our Redeemer, and our Sanctifier, both now and forevermore. Amen.
Thank you, Brother Tyrone. Grace, mercy, peace, praise, and celebration. Is there any time of the year that we celebrate more than graduation season? Do you remember your own high school graduation? Anybody remember their own high school graduation? Yes. Maybe even a great Catholic school here in New York. There is great cause for celebration today throughout the city of New York. Despite the obstacles of family living in deep, deep poverty, the vast majority of our inner city scholarship students will be enrolled in post-secondary education at some of the most prestigious colleges and universities around the country and around the world. We now have the pleasure, and I ask you to direct your attention to our next speaker, who is a true inner-city success story and an all-around stellar young man. Richard Recchia is a graduate of not one, but 2 inner-city supported schools and a former inner-city scholarship recipient. He went on to graduate from NYU and now is an Emmy Award-winning TV sports writer and producer here in New York City. Please meet Richard Recchia.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Your Eminence, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very fortunate and honored to be speaking to you this evening. My name is Richard Recchia. If you would allow me a few minutes, I would like to tell you a little bit more about me. As was said, I am a 3-time Emmy Award-winning television producer. I'm a graduate of New York University, currently pursuing my master's degree from Columbia University's journalism school. I am part owner of a clothing line, and I'm in the process of patenting my first invention. At 28 years old, I feel as if I've accomplished a great deal and still have many dreams to fulfill. But without the Inner City Scholarship Fund, I would not have any of this. I spent my childhood living in a public housing project complex in Manhattan with my mother and 3 siblings in a cramped 1-bedroom apartment. Having 3 meals a day was a sporadic event. Hot water for a shower each morning was almost like a game of chance, and heat during the winter just wasn't a reality for us. I had many opportunities to develop a defeatist attitude, but every morning I had my escape, and I was the Our Lady of Good Counsel School on the Upper East Side, and then I was fortunate enough to attend St. Agnes Boys High School on the Upper West Side. There, I not only received a great education, but more importantly, I was encouraged to become a young man who could be a positive force in society. The only reason I was able to attend Catholic schools was the Inner City Scholarship Fund and my Be a Student's Friend sponsor, Margaret Sharkey. As I look back on that time, it's amazing to me that someone who didn't know me took such a significant stake in my life. Thank you, Margaret, because without the Inner City Scholarship Fund and your contribution to my education, I definitely would not be standing here tonight, and more importantly, I do not know if I would have developed a desire to dream and aspire for what I have been blessed with today. I worked very hard to get here, and the people throughout my life in the Catholic school system believed in me. You know, there's an analogy that I like to compare my life to, and I want to share it with you all tonight. And growing up in Manhattan, I've seen my fair share of tall buildings. You know, as a child, they always looked so massive. And since I wasn't blessed with much height, these buildings are still pretty gigantic to me. But anyway, to me, life is like a tall building. The most prominent figures in society are at or near the top. You know, there are those in the middle that have a decent view and have access to elevators to shuttle up a range of floors. And there I was in the beginning, in the basement, and I had to take the stairs. Throughout my life, I've climbed up those stairs, and Margaret and the Inner City Scholarship Fund were there, along with my loved ones, to give me the support to continue. This journey up these stairs of life has taken a toll on me, but I persist and will continue climbing until I reach my top. You know, on behalf of thousands of other stair climbers who are making their way to the top, I want to thank the wonderful donors and all of you who support the work of the Inner City Scholarship Fund for helping us realize that there truly isn't a cap on our success. You know, someday I hope to be able to give the same opportunity to a young person. Thank you for giving students the opportunity to succeed as I have. You have drastically altered the trajectory of a young person's life, and for that, I hope you are proud. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Richard, you make us proud. Doesn't he make us proud? And to say someday I hope to be able to give the same opportunity to a young person. That's what it's all about, generation to generation. And Bill Hemmer, 3 Emmys. 3 Emmys from this young man. What do you think of that? It's now my great opportunity and pleasure and real honor to introduce our dear friend and my colleague, Martha McCallum. Yes. Let me tell you a little bit about Martha if you don't know, because I think you probably do, but you should know more. Martha McCallum has been an anchor and reporter at the Fox News Channel for 10 years. She is the co-anchor of America's Newsroom with Bill Hemmer, who's here tonight. Yes, he deserves our applause too. Martha has covered every presidential election for Fox since 2004, covering candidates on the campaign trail and reporting live from the floor of the Republican and Democratic conventions and on election night. She has done in-depth reporting on the Boston bombing and terrorism and homeland security. She's covered major international and national stories for Fox, including Hurricane Katrina, the funeral of Pope John Paul II, the royal wedding, and the birth of Prince George. Her wide-ranging interviews include incredible interviews with General Petraeus, President Obama, First Lady Laura Bush, and New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. Prior to joining the Fox News Channel, Martha was with NBC from 1997 to 2003, where she covered the events of September 11th as they unfolded, anchored a morning show and a primetime show called Checkpoint, focusing on terrorism and homeland security. She also reported from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Prior to that, she was an anchor and reporter for the Wall Street Journal Report. Martha and her incredible husband, Dan, another chair of tonight's event, who deserves our applause, are ardent and unstoppable supporters of the Inner City Scholarship Fund, and they've sponsored many, many students through the Be a Student's Friend program over the years. And if you don't know about it, you should. They regularly visit their students in their schools, and they've formed a deep and abiding and long-term relationship and connection with so many of them. She's an incredible broadcaster. She's an incredible American. She's an incredible mother. She's an incredible friend to this organization. She's an incredible person. I'm happy to introduce to you tonight one of our great chairs, Martha McCallum. Martha.
Good evening, everybody. It is really wonderful to be here tonight with Cardinal Dolan and with all of you. Cardinal Dolan is a warrior for these children in the city of New York, and you all need to know that. We are so grateful for everything he does to protect and to encourage strong Catholic education in the city of New York. I'd also like to thank the Friends Gala Committee, who did all of the really hard work for this evening. I want to thank also the former Gala Chairs, Tony and Christy DeNicola, and Michael and Joy Millette for their continued support and for laying the groundwork for this event for so many years, so thank you. I also want to give thanks to my husband, Dan, who has been on this Inner City Scholarship Fund journey with me since the very beginning, 10 years ago. I love him for many reasons, one of which is that he cannot say no to these kids. Over and over, he has said yes, and I thank him for that. I also want to thank my great friend Peter Johnson Jr. for being here tonight and for doing such a wonderful job. I am grateful for his support and also for the support of my boss, Roger Ailes, who has been a generous contributor this evening as well, and my colleagues from Fox, who I'm so grateful to have here tonight to support all of this as well. You guys are
awesome, and I'm so proud to be part of such a wonderful network and such a great organization. So thank you very much for being here tonight. I hope as all of you learn more this evening, you'll be moved as Dan and I were 10 years ago to get involved. When we learned how easy it was to sponsor a child in a terrific New York City Catholic school for a few $1,000s and to know that you are giving them a truly life-changing gift, we were sold. As I'm sure many of you in this room pay private school tuition for some of your own children out there, and you understand the importance of making this choice for your child's education, for most families in the inner city, that is simply not an option. But you can make that possible for them. And what a surprise it will be to you what you receive in return for doing this for one of these fantastic children. This is how I got involved. My very dear friend Kathleen DeParis lost her brother Bart on September 11th. In the weeks to come, she discovered that Bart, although he was just 30 and starting out in his career, had been socking away money on the side to sponsor a child in the Inner City Scholarship Fund. Kathleen and her family decided that in his name they would continue this tradition for Bart. Both she and her husband Larry and Bart's mother Pat and his brother Mark, all of whom are here tonight, along with his wife Claudia, have sponsored 18 children in Bart's name for 4 years of high school. Yay. They watched as the report cards come in, and if you sponsor a student, you'll get their report cards, you'll get letters from them, and you'll follow all of their great progress through the schools. And the group of Bart Scholars, of which Dan and I became a part, 6 of those students have already received college degrees, and 6 more are very close to reaching that goal. So this year, my family added another scholar to our group. My mom, Betty McCallum, was a teacher for many years, and she especially loved to teach 3rd graders and 4th graders. After she passed away last spring, we decided that the best Christmas present that we could give our dad would be to sponsor a child in our mom's name, my sisters Jane and Lisa and I. So I called Susan George, and she said, "It's funny that you should call today because I just got a call about a little girl whose parents have just sent their oldest daughter off to college, and they called to say that unfortunately they were not going to be able to send their 9-year-old daughter back to the Sacred Heart School in the Bronx in the coming year because they just simply couldn't do both." So Amaris became our new sponsored 4th grader in honor of my mom. Susan George sent a letter to us that Amaris had written, and I want to read from Amaris's letter to you because this is not unusual. This is the kind of wonderful letter that you receive when you sponsor a child. She says, "My name is Amaris Vargas, and I will be 9 in April. I have 2 cats that I rescued from a garbage bag in the park. I named them Tiger Lily and Linda." I love that. Linda. She said that means beautiful in Spanish, and it's a beautiful cat. Beautiful cat. So she goes on to say, "My mom influences me the most by taking me to church on Sunday, and I admire her because she has gone back to college to study psychology. Amara says, the most important thing to know about me is that I am hardworking and I am determined. I entered the science fair 3 times. The first year I did not place. The second year I was in 3rd place. My project this year," she says, "is which brand of soda is the worst for your teeth." She got 2nd place, she says, "and next year I am hoping for 1st place. I will not give up." We will not give up on you either, Amaris. This is our promise. So this is a photo of my sister Jane and my dad and Amaris last week when we went to see her at Sacred Heart. My sister Lisa wasn't able to join us that day. She was teaching herself, actually. And Amaris, as you can see, is just an absolutely beautiful girl, and we are truly blessed to know her and to have her in our lives. As I said, she was just days away from having to give up her school, Sacred Heart, which is an amazing school. It's a great, great place. So you've heard tonight the statistics, but I think they're worth repeating. 98% of students being helped by the Inner City Scholarship Fund will graduate from high school next year. Think about that, 96%. 94% of those have plans to go to college in the fall. I am proud that our family is part of the Be a Student's Friend program, and someday with our help, I believe that Amaris and other students will be able to be in those ranks as college graduates as well. You know, in these times when we look around and we talk about so many things in the world that just don't seem to work, this works. This is simple, folks. You provide their tuition, and the Catholic schools provide them with an excellent education. These schools are safe. These children are taken care of. It is a serious but fun-loving environment.